This is your WCIA 3 forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, the rain really coming down tonight. That is a live view along Neal Street in Champaign. Heavy rainfall. That has been pretty much the worst of it. The severe weather has been well to our south. Things aren't looking too bad out there, but that rain's going to continue for a few more hours, especially here along I-57 and points to the east as we zoom in a little closer. Up near Ludlow, you can see some of the yellows and oranges indicating the heavier rain. Also down around Sullivan, put it in motion, and all of this slowly moving off to the east. Now, temperatures and wind speeds, that's another thing. Look at these winds, gusting to 44 miles an hour in Mattoon right now, 39 in Champaign. Good news is the rain is going to start to come to an end for tomorrow, and we're going to see a fairly nice day, albeit much cooler. All right, more about another chance for weekend storms coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
A state trooper is being remembered as a hero tonight after a deadly crash. What one man had to say after he was rescued by him years ago. Plus, the FOID card backlog has caused no small amount of grief for gun owners. What plan ISP is suggesting to fix the problem?
And Illinois football season tickets are up for renewal. What you should know before you buy.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
He bravely dedicated his life to the service of others.
A man who served his community for 2 decades died in a crash. Good evening, I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons. People in the law enforcement community and beyond are mourning the loss of Trooper Todd Hanneken. The 45-year-old died after a crash on Route 10 in Bonneville this morning. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays is with us. And Jamie, he served a long time with state police.
That's right, Jessica. He followed in his father's footsteps, who was also a retired Illinois State Police trooper. People who knew him say he won't be forgotten.
His nickname was Happy. Always had a smile on his face. He's a great family man, and he was a great trooper.
That's how friends and family are remembering Trooper Todd Hanneken, a 20-year veteran of the Illinois State Police.
Todd was one of those that everyone knew. Everyone in this area, the county, the city, everybody knew Todd.
Hanneken was on duty when his squad car left the road, hit an electric pole, and then a tree. He was pulled from the car and airlifted to the hospital. They don't have any details yet about what may have caused his car to crash. Doctors tried to save him, but he died. Tad Williams was a friend who knew Hanneken for over 25 years.
Yeah, I had tears, sad, mourning his loss, but thinking about his wife and his kids and his parents and his brother and all his family. I mean, I can't imagine what they're going through. And
State police say they are also mourning.
Our hearts are broken today, but our spirit is not. To allow our spirit to be broken, to give into the darkness around us, would be to dishonor what Todd and his family stand for.
And they're asking for the community's support as they remember a man who gave so much of himself to help others.
My daughter sent me a picture from the backyard of my house of a rainbow. From my yard to look at the rainbow, you're looking to the northeast, and that's the exact same direction as Champaign. So I had tears in my eyes thinking that rainbow was for Todd.
Respect people like Todd. Respect his family. Show love to those who serve, because love is the reason that they serve you.
Illinois State Police say they are asking for your thoughts, love, prayers, and goodwill for his family and the Illinois State Police family. Back to you, Jessica.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Tonight, Trooper Hanneken is being remembered as a hero.
He was a Medal of Honor recipient for saving the life of a man after a crash in 2018. WCIA 3's Bryce Beeman joins us now. So, Bryce, you spoke to that man tonight. What did he have to say?
I spoke with an IDOT worker who says he wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Trooper Hanneken.
For him to do that, it does make him a hero.
In May 2018, Illinois State Trooper Todd Hanneken risked his life to save another.
It definitely takes a special man to do something like he did. That is not something that is part of their job at all.
After a series of car crashes on Interstate 57, an IDOT vehicle burst into flames. The driver's door pinned shut by another car. Charleston firefighter Philip Mader arrived to the accident to see Trooper Hanneken on top of a burning car.
He was up on the windshield trying to kick it out whenever I arrived.
Trooper Hanneken was risking his life to save Andrew Bergan with the Illinois Department of Transportation. He pulled Bergan through the passenger window to safety.
I don't know how many people would do that, but he was a special one. There's no doubt about it. A hero in every sense of the word.
He says he wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Trooper Hanneken. Bergan says the state trooper was the type of person to never show off his involvement.
He'd always shift responsibility or downplay everything he did. So yeah, obviously he was a really special guy.
For his heroic acts, Hanneken was given the Medal of Honor in October 2019, an honor both Bergan and Mater say was so deserved.
His family ought to be very, very proud of his accomplishments. He is, like I said, he went above and beyond that day for sure.
But Hanneken was the type of guy who went above and beyond every day. He visited Bergan in the hospital, and they continued talking and getting lunch.
And we were going to have lunch again. I really think we would have talked for the rest of our lives.
And knowing that is no longer the case.
It really hasn't sunk in. Unfortunately, it's going to be really difficult.
Social media has been flooded with condolences to Trooper Hanneken's family. Asa Smith wrote on her Facebook page that he was there when the state trooper saved Bergan's life. Smith said, quote, "He went right to work getting that guy out of the car. It was the most heroic thing I've ever seen. He was a real hero." Back to you.
It certainly sounds like it, Bryce. Thanks. Other police and fire departments took to social media to share their condolences as well. The Macon County Sheriff's Office posted, quote, "He was always a joy to speak and joke with when he came to the office. Trooper Hanneken will certainly be missed." In other news, a man from Taylorville was charged with reckless homicide in the death of a 52-year-old man in August. Moultrie County State's Attorney says 25-year-old Dylan Tucker ran a stop sign and crashed into a motorcycle. Michael Costelli of Lovington was killed. Tucker will be back in court later this month.
New at 10, Springfield police are investigating a shooting. This happened tonight near East Edwards and South 16th Streets. Police say the victim will be okay, but did not release any more details. They say if you have any information, to contact them. State police have an idea to fix the FOID card backlog, and it would require gun owners to provide them their fingerprints. If they do, their FOID card would automatically renew without the gun owner having to do anything. That's what's being pitched at the state capitol right now. If a gun owner refused to provide fingerprints, they would still be able to hold a FOID card, but they would have to go through the renewal process, which includes a mandatory background check every time. Amtrak is working to make stations ADA accessible. They are fixing 78 stations across the country. That includes the ones in Rantoul, Mattoon, and Effingham. Amtrak also has to pay more than $2 million for victims who were affected by inaccessibility.
Switching now to the latest on COVID-19, nearly 2,200 new infections were announced today. 35 more people have died. That includes 3 across Douglas, Macon, and Sangamon counties. Positivity rates increased to 3.2%. As for vaccinations, more than 118,000 people got a shot yesterday. The 7-day average is around 101,000. More than 15% of the state is now fully vaccinated. Students in Champaign schools are going back to regular school schedules next year. The district sent a notice to parents. Kids will be in the classroom 5 days a week, full time. There is an option for families who don't want their kids to return. It's called the Distance Learning Program. That'll have its own teachers. More details are expected to be released in the future.
And we have a follow-up from last night. We are learning more about how EIU is spending $7.5 million. The school is getting that money from the Rebuild Illinois Capital Plan. It'll go toward 2 projects. The first is a tunnel that goes under the inner part of the school. They plan to fix some pipes and asbestos. EIU also has an old boiler they want to revamp at the old steam plant on campus. They're also going to get a second one that would upgrade the heating and cooling system. The university says these systems can be hard to maintain or repair.
We're very excited. These have been things that have long been needed on campus. We call them emergency purchases.
It's estimated the state capital plan will generate about 500,000 jobs over 6 years. The Rebuild Illinois plan will invest $45 billion in roads, bridges, universities, and more.
If you're an Illinois football season ticket holder, it's time to renew. A few things are still up in the air ahead of kickoff.
Plus, as temperatures warm up, that means we're getting into severe weather season. How you can learn to help meteorologists like Kevin here warn others of danger.
Storm spotters, they're key. We use those guys a lot. We appreciate it.
Rain's really coming down tonight.
Did you get a little wet out there tonight, Paul?
And,
Paul's like, it was really coming down.
Yeah, it was, and it flipped my umbrella inside out.
Oh,
I caught one of those nasty gusts.
That was, yeah, the winds, and it is really coming down, as we can see here on our Flooring America camera in Champaign. If you want to see what's happening on the radar, actually, this is our WCIA 3 weather app right there. And you can zoom down in, I mean, right down in. Look at the rain that's coming down in Champaign. Hey, I can even see Paul and his umbrella getting flipped there, if you look really close. We're going to come back and talk about the rain that's out there tonight, okay, and then get you some more details about how the weekend may have another system to bring us some strong storms. That's coming up next.